All right, you wonderful people who I love so much. I have something for you. Okay, so what have I done? What was I doing? What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is I've got 2 more guitars to show you. Okay? And basically, this is guitar 220. Okay? And it's serial number 241020. 241020, the 24th day of the 10th month of the 20th year. Can you believe it? How fast time flies. I remember I was in my shop doing the same stuff I'm doing now. Building guitars. Nothing changed. And I was in there as they were getting ready for Y2K. And nothing changed. I'm still in my shop building guitars. Now we'll get to that later. I got a story about that. Always about the toddler and the alien. Toddlers and aliens. Toddlers and aliens have a secret relationship with each other. They need each other. The alien is the parasite and the toddler is the host. The ignorant, unknowing, dumb host whom the alien is gonna eradicate right now. So I'm on the side of the alien. But getting on with today's show. Okay, you already know that I'm the world's greatest guitar builder, right? And actually a real guitar builder. That gets me to another thing that's on my mind. Every year, each magazine does some stupid fucking article. You know these guitar magazines that don't even exist anymore? They're just online. Oh man, how pathetic and lame. But anyway, they decide who they're gonna promote, right? It's all promotion, and the alien is behind promotion and advertising, and which is basically propaganda. And if you're not promoted, you ain't going nowhere fast. Okay? You're gonna be in your basement, like me. My basement shop. It doesn't matter if I'm the best in the world. So they come up with these articles, I don't know, once a year, twice a year, whatever, and then they have, one of them just caught my eye, I don't know, but I don't know which one it is, doesn't matter, they're all the fucking same. And this one, it's entitled something like the best Telecaster style guitars you can buy in the year 2021 or something like that. So I said, wow, I gotta find out, you know, there's some really fantastic out of this world Telecasters. So I'm looking through this list. Are you surprised at this? Do you have the brains to even know what I'm gonna say? Do you know what this thing was all about? Every one of these fucking frauds are offering you kit guitars. They buy bodies, they buy necks, they do a nice job painting it, some of them relic it, and then they put it together and sell it to you. Can you imagine? And if you're a toddler, you're all for it. You're buying into this shit if you're a toddler. Oh yeah. Because a toddler doesn't know the difference between a fraud and an actual guitar builder. No, the toddler just, for some reason, well, we know the reason, you know, in terms of intelligence, they were in the back of the line, so they never got much of it. But they love it if somebody's nice to them. Oh, if somebody's nice to them, the toddler takes their money out. Just throws them money. Just make me feel good about myself, please. I'll pay you. And they, you know, somebody like me, oh, I wouldn't give that guy my money. Oh, he's just a nasty, miserable, he makes me feel bad. He disrespects me. He calls me a toddler. Anyway, we got really sidetracked. So anyway, so they're all parts casters, you know. Oh my God. None of them can build a guitar. None of them on that fucking list can build a guitar. Isn't that pathetic? That's what we've come to. You know, in the old days, you know, going back a few decades, they were truly competent craftsmen, and they passed down their craft. Instrument builders. You know, I come from the legacy of European traditional historic. I sound like the Gibson Custom Shop. They have co-opted all these terms. Son of a bitches. Anyway, that's not even Gibson, by the way. That's a bad copy of what the original Gibson was. It's a copy shop. It's like a modern CNC made copy, and what they did is they bought the name. That's all you got. It's like if I buy your name, and your name is, let's say, David Kaminsky, and I buy your name. I say, you know what, I'll give you $100,000. You give me your name? And you'll say, well, I don't want to do that, but $100,000, yeah, sure, I'll give you my name. Then do I then become David Kaminsky? Do I? I don't think so. So that's the fraud that these people are playing on you. You know, you're being psyoped. You're being psyoped so much that it's, I don't even know where to start, and you wouldn't be able to comprehend it if I did explain to you all the ways that you're being psyoped. But you're totally fine with that because they dumbed you down. You went to school. Yeah. But anyway, what was I up to when I was building this? This was what did I say this was? This was the 10th month, right? Okay, so it was last fall. So I'm an actual guitar builder, and not only that, I build guitars that are truly my own. Okay, I may like traditional shapes like the Les Paul or Telecaster or Strat or whatever, but what I do is, even if the body shape is exact, that's as far as you're gonna get if you think that it's got nothing to do with that guitar except for the body shape. Everything is original, everything is my own. And the other thing I never understood is why the hell, you know, they're making vintage Fenders, let's say, Strats and Tellys, and they're relicking them. Why would you want to buy that from some hyped up company? Just buy a Fender. I never could understand why people would pay the same amount or sometimes more to buy an off-brand replica of a vintage Fender. A Fender which is not a Fender? If you want a Fender, buy a Fender. You're going to buy a copy of a vintage Fender reissue from another company? Or Gibson, or whatever it may be. Gibson's harder to pull off. They can't just buy bodies and necks, so that's why they're not doing Gibson. But Fender, oh my God, it's open season on that. Just order up the bodies, order up the necks. You can either paint it or you can have somebody else paint it, and you've got a guitar company, and you're a revered guitar builder. Oh yeah, oh yeah. The toddler loves it. So anyway, so we're not going to talk about guitars right now. We're actually going to talk about pickups. Am I going to be the world's greatest pickup builder as well? Oh, there's all these revered hotshot pickup builders everywhere. Oh, they got big names. Oh boy. Doesn't matter what you're getting as long as you get that brand name on there. I don't want to mention any names. But I think what they're going to be doing is these slime balls who may have endorsers, a hyped brand name, and they may be promoted by these so-called guitar magazines on, and they may advertise, they may spend money advertising, and they do live streams or whatever the fuck they do. They're actually buying their legitimacy, and that is exactly the method that PRS used for decades. They bought their way in. I don't like that idea. It's fake and it's insincere, but they don't have creativity, okay? And they don't really have innovation. You know, I am just sick of this. Just like with guitars, they're building the ultimate vintage humbucker, you know, the PAF humbucker, or the ultimate broadcaster pickup, or vintage Telecaster. You know, no. The idea is for you to start with that and make it even better, right? Or do something new. Do something, oh no, we don't want anything new in the guitar business. Oh no, because the toddler won't like it. That's death. That's business death. If you try something new in the guitar industry, the toddler will not stand for it. Well, I don't give a fuck about the toddler. You understand what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about you, the toddler. All right? I do everything for me. Understand? Does that hurt your feelings? Everything is done for Alex. Understand? Everything. Now, this is precisely how you should be talking to your spouse, to your wife, your girlfriend, whatever. It's exactly how you should be talking to her. And guess what? She's going to call you a narcissist. Now, how would I know that? Well, it's easy. The alien has produced the modern woman. That's the work of the alien. And the alien has also affected the mind and the behavior and the ideology of the modern woman. Are you the victim of a modern woman? Are you? Or any woman? The alien has taken female nature and turned it against you. Does that make sense? Listen, I'm also a marriage counselor. No kidding. I'm serious. I am. I offer psychological counseling, life coaching, consultation, everything to do with relationships with male and female nature and the dynamic between men and women. That's actually what I went to school for, believe it or not. It wasn't guitar building. I may act crazy. Okay? But the definition of crazy is someone who is out of touch with reality. And that's not me. But that could be you. Out of touch with reality. You're being psyoped. And you don't even know it. And you also don't know how the world functions and who rules it and why you are in the shithole that you're in. or you've always been in. There's a reason for it, but you can't connect the dots. I'm also an expert on the aliens. And you don't know the aliens. Chances are that you don't know. Some of you do, which I'm so happy about. But the vast majority of you don't know the alien. Understand? And that's when you got a problem. And even worse, if you're a younger guy and you're playing video games and looking at porn all day, did you realize by now that you have no fucking future? You have nothing? The alien keeps showing you that you have no fucking future and they're out to kill you, but you can't see it because you can't connect any of the dots. I can help you with that. I can help you connect the dots. At least you can maybe defend yourself, because there's nothing there for you. Nothing. Especially if you kind of have my tone, if you know what I mean. It's serious business. It's time to wake up. Mental illness is defined by a loss of a connection with reality. And if you ever have any issues, you ever want to find out how to act like a man, how to treat your spouse, why is your spouse treating you like crap, you come to me and I'll give you consultation. I'll tell you exactly what's going on and what to do about it. And guess what? I deal with reality. So a lot of the things I understand, you don't like to hear what I have to say, but that's the only way you're gonna grow. Alright, well, let's get back to this. What is this video about anyway? I've lost track. Pickups. Are we talking about toddlers and pickups? Okay. So let's talk about the toddler a bit and then get on with the pickups and guitars. The toddler means less than fucking dog shit to me. Alright? And I've always had that attitude. Guess what? I'm antisocial. Oh boy, don't call me that name. I'm antisocial. It's called individualism. It's called being an original. So what am I getting at? Come on, get to what you're trying to say, Alex. Okay. So prior to this, I don't know if you were paying attention or not, or if you even care, because it's not promoted by the mainstream media. So obviously you're gonna walk right past it, right, toddler? Of course you will. You wouldn't be a toddler if you didn't do that. All right. So previously, what I did is I made the Magpul-Bucker. And what was the Magpul-Bucker? The Magpul-Bucker was basically a Gibson-style humbucker. And one side was the slug coil of a Gibson-style humbucker. And the other side, the other coil, was also a Gibson coil. But it had Strat-style, Fender-style magnets as the pull piece instead of the screws that you see on most humbuckers. I didn't put the screws in, and instead I put in magnet pull pieces, just like you find on any Fender type of guitar, like a Stratocaster or Telecaster. Does that make sense? That's what I did on the Magpul-Bucker. Magnetic pole and also humbucker. That's what that means. And guess what? I just found out today that it's already been copied. Already been copied. By a big name pickup manufacturer, whose name is being used to sell new guitars, usually lower end guitars, who are looking to boost their brand by offering that type of brand of pickups, which is quite common in the what used to be the guitar industry. before the alien pulled the rug out from under everyone. Already been copied. But this one, so this one is going to be copied as well. But I want you to know where you heard this first and who came up with this. Don't ever forget it. If you forget it, I'm going to find you. And I'm going to give you a jab in your arm myself. I'm going to give you 5 jabs all over your body. Alright? If you dare not give me credit for this. So what did I come up with? Well, I came up with, there's a compromise always. You can split the coils on a humbucker, and I like it. It sounds good, but it may not sound exact like a Fender single coil. So with the development of my Magpul bucker, it's a closer approximation of an actual Fender single coil, because when you put it into single coil mode, the Fender side is going to have Fender magnets as the pull pieces, so it's going to sound more like a Fender pickup. But it's still not absolutely exact as, let's say, you want your guitar to sound like a Strat. It's still not exact. And so I went to the Magpul magnetic pull bucker, and I thought, after doing that, if you look at the previous guitars that I showcased in these videos, just the one before this, that's the Magpul buckers. And then I thought, well, let's go all the way. Let's go all the way. Hardcore. All the way. It's never been done before. And I thought, well, it's not going to work. Yeah, it's going to work. We got to do it. We got to make it happen. So listen good, you fucking copycats. Listen good, you pieces of crap. I'm explaining to you how you can copy me, you pieces of shit, you. You bootleg and you suck dick. And that's how you got ahead. But anyway. Do I sound... I'm not angry. I'm not angry. Yeah, you know, I'm actually very mild right now. Okay? This is not what I look like when I'm angry. Okay? So, what's the next step forward? The next step forward, to go all the way, hardcore. Hardcore, extreme. Because that's where I live. The next step is to keep that Gibson slug coil the way it is. And instead of using just another Gibson coil, but using magnetic pull pieces like on a Fender style pickup, instead of using the Gibson coil, I thought, why don't I just build this actual, real, legitimate Strat pickup and put it next to the Gibson slug coil? Wow. Both on one pickup frame. 2 separate pickups on one pickup frame, making one pickup, but also making it work together. At the flick of a switch, either making the Strat, the actual Strat side, work by itself, or work together with the Gibson slug coil at the flick of a switch. Do you understand the magnitude of this creation, innovation? Do you understand this? Or you don't give a shit? You'd rather hear the review of a fucking fuzz pedal, which is not a review but a fucking infomercial instead, given to you by a leading toddler with 500,000 subscribers of all toddlers? Is that what you want? Is that why you came here for? Well, forget it. That's not what you're going to get here. You're going to get something profound if you come here. If you are brave enough to come here. I'm going to lay it on you. And if you can't handle it, get the fuck out. You don't get it, right? Well, don't go anywhere. Listen. To my knowledge, it's never been done. And that's my style. Okay, you're not seeing Fender copies built here, either in guitars or pickups. All right? Or you're not seeing some, abomination bastardized thing that kind of looks like a Tele or a Strat or less. No. The bodies, they're exact what I use. What you see is, going, the step forward is to improve everything. You want me to bring you a vintage fucking Telecaster, which is crap? Let's be honest. It's a crap guitar. It's a cheap crap guitar. Sorry, Joe Bonamassa. I think I hear him crying. And there's limitations to Gibsons and limitations. I mean, the Strat is full of limitations, even though all these big name boomers with masks, former guitar heroes, rock stars, who are basically trained dogs and have worked for the fucking alien their entire lives. And they were practically created by the alien. They're praising it up and down and whatever. But so have a Gibson coil beside an actual Strat pickup. So when you split the coil and you go into single coil mode, you will activate the Strat pickup, and what you will get an actual, real, legitimate Strat pickup on the humbucker frame. And then when you put it into double coil humbucking mode, you will also activate the Gibson slug coil side, and then you will get a humbucker. But the key is that when you switch it into single coil mode, you will actually get a Strat pickup. Now, I don't mean like a sort of a Strat. I mean an actual. Okay, you want to get fancy? Vintage spec Strat pickup. What do you think of that? What do you fucking think of that, toddler? I don't think you get anything I'm talking about here. How can I function in a world of toddlers? Tell me how. You know how painful that is? That's the story of my life. Having to live in the world of toddlers. And now they're so fucking creepy with their masks. It literally scares me. It scares me to step out my front door. Because there are the toddlers with their mental illness and their masks. Ow. So you want to see what it looks like? Okay. All right, so this guitar was built specifically, well, so I can try out these pickups. So obviously it's a very impressive Zachary guitar here, and we'll run through that. It's an exact 13-inch. It's the real Les Paul body shape, exact shape, but it's thicker and it's semi-hollow, meaning that it's not hollow in the center, but it's hollow on the sides. And here's the pickup. And I call it the STRAT-O-BUCKER. STRAT-O-BUCKER pickup. Here's an actual Strat pickup right here. And here's the Gibson slug coil. Now, you may not realize this, how hard it is to do this. And you know why? You don't know why. Oh, just put these two things beside each other. Well, yeah, but then any dumb fuck would have done this already, right? Any dumb fuck would have done this already. But they didn't. You know why? Well, the obvious reason is because they don't have my intellect, and they don't have my talent and my ability and my phallic size. Very important. And my balls too. Very important. It all comes down to personality. It all comes down to personality type. And they're incapable of coming up with something like this. But the other reason is that it's very difficult to do. Even if they would have thought of it, they wouldn't have been able to execute it, because it's very difficult to do, and you gotta have skill in your hands. You gotta have skill in your hands and your dick. And a powerful brain. And then you can call yourself a man. Otherwise, I would just suggest that you copy. It's the best way, just copy. Because you're not capable of doing anything original or creative. Just copy. Can we use that word, man? Can we still use... Will the alien allow us to use the word man and women? Man and woman? I don't think we can. We have to talk in code. Because a Strat pickup is a lot taller in depth than a Gibson coil is. So everything has to be hand fabricated, including the fiber frame, non-metallic fiber frame. And it has to be built. You can't really see it here, but it has to be built all by hand and fabricated in such a way that you can put a deep Strat in depth this way beside what do you call it, narrower or whatever, shallower Gibson coil, or you can call it a bobbin as well. And so then I made a matching set, right? So that they perfectly match each other. And so there it is. So this one has just your regular steel slugs, just like any humbucker does. Okay? Except, again, no dumb fuck has ever tried this or come up with this. The slugs here are staggered, unlike in a Gibson humbucker. I mean, if you take the cover off of a Gibson humbucker, or if you even look at any Gibson style humbucker without covers, you will see that these slugs are all flush with the top of the bobbin, right? So that way you're not getting balanced string volume, okay? So I had to research the exact and correct stagger. And for the first time that I know of, I staggered the slugs on a Gibson style bobbin, coil. So these are staggered, but they're not magnetic. The magnet is underneath, just like any other Gibson pickup. This side has no magnet underneath, obviously not, because the magnets, just like on a Strat pickup, are your actual pole pieces. Did you know that? I don't think so. Well, now you do, if you understand what I'm trying to say to you. So when you go over here, obviously you have your pickup selector, right? Three-way. And here you got a mini switch. And the mini switch, this way, it's single coil mode, which automatically puts both pickups in single coil mode, meaning that it only activates the Strat side. And then when you switch the mini switch away from you, you've got both pickups in humbucking mode. So you're activating, you've activated both coils of the pickup. Both. You've added the Gibson side onto the already active Fender Strat side of the pickup. The Gibson side of each pickup. So you're getting a humbucker sound, right? A humbucker tone, a full humbucker tone, which is going to be louder, it's going to be thicker. And then again, if you put it into single coil mode, you're getting actual, and let me beat this into your head, actual Stratocaster pickups right here. And the whole thing is hand wound, hand fabricated, and it's the very first of its kind, called the STRAT-O-BUCKERs. Okay, so let's go on to the guitar here, and what do we got here? Again, the website has got all the pictures. You're not going to get a good lighting in this shop here. Okay, so the top is a two-piece top, meaning that there's a seam in the center, but it's so perfectly book matched. This comes out of one piece of wood, and then that piece of wood is resawn in the center, and then it's opened up, right? And so therefore it's a mirror. One side is a mirror of another type of thing, so that's why the seam is not easily noticed, which is exactly what you want. It looks like a one-piece top, but it's actually a two-piece. And the other thing is that this is solid walnut, which means that it's not laminated. It's not plywood. It's not veneer on top of plywood. This is solid. You could tell it's solid walnut. And then it's glued on top of the butternut body. So all the woods here are related to each other. Butternut is a type of walnut, a lighter type of walnut, and then you got genuine walnut here, and the neck is walnut. So there you go. And you've got master tone, master volume and master tone. Again, the volume is placed in such a spot that you can actually reach it. Right, Gibson? Have you heard of that, Gibson? No? No? Gibson has never heard it. Well, you know what? They can't do it because the toddler won't allow it. All right? So everything is the fault of the toddler. Everything, including the masks. So anyway, going all along, what do we got? What's the body made of? Okay, well, this is interesting too. The body is interesting. Look at that. There's butternut. And again, what is cool about this body? Well, this body is thicker than a Les Paul. It's semi-hollow. The bottom, the sides, they're thin, they're resonant. The strings go through the body here, obviously, right? And this is butternut. And what's interesting about this is one piece. Are you excited? No? Still not excited? I don't know what to do with you. So this is a one-piece butternut, hollowed out, solid walnut placed on top of the butternut. So what do you do? How do you match this up with a neck? What do you do for a neck? Well, let me give you a hint. You use a walnut neck. See, everything has got to match. We got to look for the details. Look at the screws. Again, this screw is shorter. So if you take this to a dumb fuck, a local hero, repair technician, an extraordinaire, an unbelievable craftsman, and if he doesn't put his glasses on, and he doesn't realize that this is a shorter screw, he's going to use one of these screws in that spot and drill right through your fucking neck. And as a toddler, you will give him a pass on it. I know you will. Because he's well known and he's highly respected. So here's a walnut neck. Look at that. Look at that oil finish. Oh my God. Oh my God. Just like a woman's skin. Well, what women used to be like anyway. Women are disgusting these days, but I'm going back to this. You remember what women and girls used to look like in the 70s? Yeah. They don't look like that anymore. The genetically modified food really did a number on women. So here's the tuners, modern tuners on this one, because this is kind of a modern guitar. And well, the fingerboard. What do you see about the fingerboard? This is beautiful ebony. Do you get ebony these days? Do you? Do you? I don't think so. This is real ebony. Oh! And the dots on the ebony, what are they? Wow, they're genuine pearl dots. Oh my goodness. And look at these beautiful plastic, lightweight. That's the reason for it. Lightweight knobs, and I put a little texture on them. See, they feel so nice. So that's it. What else can I tell you? That is it. You forgot the frets, Alex. 24 wide and tall stainless steel frets. As always. And no plec machine, toddlers. I was watching this live stream with Gibson, and the toddlers say, "Is it plecked? Is it plecked? Is it plecked? Is it? Can we have our jab as soon as possible? Because we're afraid of the sniffles. Is it plecked?" No, it's not plecked. I pleck it myself. With my knowledge, with my skill on how to do a fret job. Understand? This is a really nice bridge. You have little screws there, and you lock it onto the post, and it's perfectly placed. And so I'm not only the world's best guitar builder for the types of guitars I build. Okay. I don't claim to be the best acoustic guitar builder or archtop guitar builder. And now I think I'm the world's greatest pickup builder also. I can't handle it myself. It's just too much. It's just too much. And look at this raised logo. Look at that Z. Look at that. So anyway, what's this worth? What's this worth? What's this worth? What would you pay for it? Made in China. Is it worth $500, this guitar? Is it worth $500? Well, let me just give you a little piece of information. A reality check. These pickups alone for the set is $500 if I was to sell them, because that's what they should be worth. The pickups alone. Okay? Alright, so now you're going to hear it. Here we go. I just want to mention before I start playing that you're going to be hearing my Tweed Champ clone, my late 50s Tweed Champ clone that is painted butterscotch. And you've seen it before, and this is it right here, and it has a 8-inch speaker. So for both guitar demos, you're hearing an 8-inch speaker through a 5-watt Champ amp. All right, so you're not hearing high fidelity here. Okay. Obviously the big switch is the toggle switch. It toggles between the two pickups, and the center is both pickups, you know that. And then the little switch is the coil switch. So with the little switch up towards me, the inside coils are activated, which are the Strat pickup coils. Okay? With the little switch down, both coils are activated. So it's humbucker. Okay, so let's start off with single coil mode. Little switch up, big switch up, meaning that it's this one coil here that's on. And then I'm going to switch to both inner single coils on, and then to the bridge Strat single coil on, and then I'll do the same thing in humbucker mode, okay? All right, so the second guitar of the day what do we got here? This is guitar number 221. It's the 221st guitar that I've built. And no, this is not prefabricated kit guitars that I'm offering you, okay? And it's serial number 091120, meaning that it was built on the 9th day of the 11th month of the year 2020. And it's also a ZLP13-SH, which stands for Zachary Les Paul 13-inch. That's the lower bout. The width of the guitar body is 13 inches. And SH stands for semi-hollow. And just a little background. In 1999, I built what has become a kind of a famous or infamous guitar. It was called the Zachary Home Depot dumpster guitar. And the story with that was that I found this wood in the dumpster behind a Home Depot, and it was really nice pine. And I thought, why are they throwing this stuff away? It's a crime to throw wood away. And I will get into more of that with kind of a newer guitar that I've built that hasn't come up in the list of it being showcased as of yet. I'm getting to it, but you will see another one that I built from wood I found in the garbage just recently, the last few months. Anyway, so there's the Home Depot dumpster guitar, and this was 1999, so there weren't any guitar forums at the time. The internet was very new. And those of you who have followed me since those days will know what I'm talking about, because back then my website, it was coming up pretty well on the internet. I don't think Google was any big at that time. Google was just one of the minor search engines, and what happened is the alien occupied government had decided that they're going to use an alien organization or alien operation called Google, and they're going to make that the world standard and the monopoly of search engines. So ever since Google took over, my website has been, I believe, shadow banned because it no longer comes up anymore. I mean, my website in the late 90s was really coming up quite well. I mean, there was a lot of people writing me, a lot of hate, a lot of love, both. I love it. I love it all. But right now I've been shadow banned for the last 10, 12 years. So if you got a website these days, it's not going to come up even if you're not shadow banned, because the whole algorithm has changed and everything. So those were the good old days. But anyway, there was no guitar forums, I don't believe. It was something called Usenet. You heard of that? And I stumbled onto this, and I realized that there's these whole bunch of whoever they were, all anonymous, of course, and they were talking guitars. So I thought, oh, this is an interesting thing. And I quickly realized that they were all toddlers. Oh my goodness. They're all really clever and sarcastic and mocking everything and pretending they were knowledgeable, which, you know, they were as stupid as shit, you know. When it came to guitars, there were some semi-famous guitar builders and companies on there as well, and they're chatting away. So I thought I was going to give them a little excitement and I'm going to announce that I built a guitar out of Home Depot dumpster wood that I found, and this wood happens to be Knotty Pine. And you got to understand, you got to put it in perspective. At that point, PRS was in its heyday with these grotesquely artificial looking, dyed and covered in plastic, grotesquely figured tops. And that's how they made their they got their fame through that, right? And they heavily promoted it, two-page color ads in guitar magazines and endorsers. Everybody was an endorser of PRS, and on and on and on and on. And so here I come in an era where if your wood wasn't figured, then your guitar was no good, of course, unless it was a vintage guitar. Then it was permissible to have a something made of less than figured wood, ash or alder. But other than that, anybody that was even making guitars back then, you had to have figured wood, because figured wood is a sign of a good guitar, right? Good quality guitar. Whatever that means, quality guitar. So I go on there, and I think I showed some pictures or gave a link or whatever. And these fucking toddlers, they didn't know how to handle this. It was just too much for them, and they just went nuts. I just got this barrage of hate, mockery, derision, you name it. They all piled on. All these anonymous toddlers, the same ones I've seen in guitar shops for years, the same goofs that I wouldn't even acknowledge in the real world. They were on the internet. They were making fun of me left and right, you know. You can't make a guitar out of pine, or Knotty Pine for that matter. Oh my goodness. So, and I said, well, this is probably the best guitar I've ever made. It's so resonant, it's so loud acoustically, it's perfect in every way. I mean, how can anything top this in terms of tone, in terms of feel? But of course, they couldn't comprehend any of that. They just knew that it wasn't a PRS. So what is wrong with me? How dare I be an original? How dare I go against the mainstream narrative, the establishment? I'm a heretic. So that's the mentality of the toddler. And they have never changed. And I'm looking at these people, and these are people that I've never even would have acknowledged in the guitar store. But again, I keep saying the internet comes along, and they get, all of a sudden they find importance. They find a sense of power in their anonymous postings, you know, which they would never say ever in real life. You know, you look at the guy and say, what a fucking goof you are, and just laugh and walk away. You know, nobody would pay attention to these pieces of shit. But the internet, they can be anything they want. They can claim to be anything that they want. They can claim to have all the women in the world. They can claim to be the best guitar players in the world, the best guitar builders, whatever. They can claim anything they want. All right, the most knowledgeable in the world, and they're none of that. They don't even exist. It's just fucking words on a page. That's all they are. However, on the internet, all the toddlers can unite, and then they have power in numbers. All the toddlers pile up and make a monkey pile on anyone who tries to be different. Just like the fucking grade school schoolyard. All the fucking toddlers. And now they all got their masks on in the grocery store. That's what became of them. They're all masked. but they love blues rock. So here I am, right out in the open, and I'm proud of what I've done. I'm quite impressed with Knotty Pine. I even got some antique nails and I pounded it in there just to get the aesthetic going, you know what I mean? I distressed the wood even further to give it that antique country barn vibe. Again, put it in perspective, please. This is 1999. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Nails in a guitar, distressed. Holy shit. I just realized something. I'm not joking. 1999. Could I have been the first to relic a guitar? I don't know. You tell me. I think there was no relic. Nobody's ever thought about relicking at that point. Holy shit. No wonder they went crazy. So not only was it Knotty Pine, it was also relict, which they didn't know what relicking even was. But I went to this specialty woodworking store and I bought these replica antique nails and I pounded them into the body of the guitar in strategic locations, and then I also put insect markings and holes into the body and reliced it further that way. I don't have any close-up pictures of it. I wish I did, but no wonder they literally peed their panties. They have never seen anything like it. Now that reminds me of something else. I was dealing with a musical instrument, a major manufacturer slash distributor, wholesaler. You've all heard of them. Been around for 40, 50 years, whatever. They sell everything to do with amps and tubes, pedals, whatever. And I deal with one of the salesmen over there, and he knew about my site, and we were talking about it, and he said he looked through all the pages and everything, my legacy site, my first website, my old website, which is still up, by the way. And he says, do you realize that what Fender and Gibson is doing now, and he was referencing Fender, how they're bringing out these quasi-custom variations on Strats and Jazzmasters, Jaguars, Telecasters, kind of like using unique woods and maybe different finishes, different colors, mix and match hardware that would update the guitar, different pickup that sort of thing, right? Custom versions of existing models, which basically I say I make hot rods because I kind of do that. But I did that from day one, ever since 1996. Variations of them with updated features. He says, do you realize that you were doing this 25 years ago before they even got the idea? They probably ripped you off regarding the idea of doing these kinds of things, being just a little bit radical. They took the chance, they took the risk. And I said, yeah, absolutely, He said, you were doing this 25 years ago. So that's why they're peed their panties, the toddlers on Usenet, pretending to be guitar experts. And I come along. It was a trauma for them. They were traumatized. No wonder they're still traumatized to this day. They're very afraid. And they all got a mask now. And that's exactly the way I want it. Boomers in masks. So in building this Home Depot dumpster guitar, I had a vision of this theme even back then. Every guitar had its own unique theme. And this thing was going to have wormholes, insect holes, antique nails, scratches. Oh my God, to even think that I came up with relicking? No, I can't be. I don't believe it. But it's kind of freaky to imagine, right? Or what I was thinking actually is a historical shipyard vibe. You know what I mean? Make it look like an old boat or something. But other than that, I mean, the thing was a brand new instrument and a modern playing instrument. And so they just kept mocking and ridiculing, and my goodness. And so I played it up even more just to rub it in. And I thought that, okay, maybe they're going to have a revelation. They're going to have an epiphany and realize what guitars are all about and realize what craftsmanship is. I mean, if somebody can make a Knotty Pine guitar out of wood that they were going to throw away in a dumpster, I mean, there's got to be some skill involved there, right? But no, that didn't click in the mind of the toddler, because the toddler is an incompetent fool. That's why the internet is so essential for the toddler. You know, it's that's where they live. They live on the internet. Speaking of the internet, actually, this video is going to be long again. Sorry about that. Just got a lot of stories to share. Hope you don't mind. I hated the internet from the first time I ever heard of it. I thought, you know, what kind of bullshit is this? Who needs this crap? You know what I mean? I don't want to learn something new. I want to concentrate all my mental energies into learning how to make the best guitars in the world. I don't want to fucking do something that's virtual. It's not even real. I like to touch things. I'm a real analog person, okay? And an alien came along, and I'm not joking, an alien, and aliens are very pushy, and they literally won't leave you alone until they get what they want, which is, if you look around in the world, that's what's happening right now. They got a motivation, and they carry it through to the end, no matter what happens to the world around them, no matter what disaster they cause, destruction, annihilation, devastation, immiseration. So this alien would not leave me alone. He tried to befriend me, then he tried to the point where he would be threatening me. He wanted to get out of the situation whatever he wanted to get out of it in a very aggressive manner. If you don't know the alien, you would have noticed, if you're paying attention, that they're relentless. They're extremely tenacious, and their motivation is spiritual at the root. So that's why it's so they're so motivated, so powerfully motivated. And that's how they rule the world. And he said to me that he's hosting websites. And I had no idea what hosting was or websites were. And he says, you got to get on the internet. And I said, okay. He says, it'll only cost you $10 a month. I will host your website and I will build you a free website. I said, okay, whatever that is. Well, I kept declining the offer. I said, I don't need this shit. So he talked me into it, and that's how I got onto the internet. And his the first website he built was just absolutely atrocious. I mean, literally a 5-year-old would be ashamed to build such a website. But that was back in '96, of course. So then after that website, my next website, which is still on the internet, it was built around 98 or something like that. And people say of that, oh my God, it looks so terrible. It looks like it was built in 1998 or something. And I say, you know why? Because it was built in 1998. Just a little side note. Oh, by the way, to finish the story here, which has nothing to do with this guitar video, the free website that the alien built, the one that was supposed to be free, he sucked me in. It was not free. He got his pound of flesh. That's right. So I built this guitar here that I'm going to show you right now, and it just reminded me of that Home Depot dumpster guitar. And I sold that soon after I built it, I think, and then years later somebody contacted me that they bought it. So the second owner then tells me that he changed the tuners. He put modern tuners on it. The vintage style Clouson tuners was not good enough for the toddler. See, this is what I mean. This is why it's so dangerous to deal with toddlers. And what happens is, on the used market, they get a hold of these guitars, and the fucking toddlers, let me tell you, they're sneaky bastards. And so he ruined the whole theme, you know, putting brand new modern tuners on a guitar that's otherwise relict and has a vintage distressed look to it. See what I mean? There's no aesthetic feel from the toddler. The toddler is basically a slave in a mask, and should be in a mask, and needs to be controlled. I fully agree with that. I agree fully with what's going on right now. I love it. The alien is definitely on the right track. It's long overdue. The toddler is a born slave, a consensual slave, personality-wise, psychologically-wise, and they need to be controlled, and they love to be controlled, either from their wives or from the state. Doesn't matter. And the problem with the toddler is they are, almost all of them are what I call guitar flippers. They don't play the guitar, they buy and sell, they buy and sell, they buy and sell. They are not serious musicians. They're not serious about anything that they do. They don't really put passion into anything that they do. That's the nature of the toddler. So to sell guitars, I mean, the guitar industry is built upon the toddler, and it's built upon impulsive purchasing and emotional purchasing, nothing to do with rationality, real knowledge. I mean, they even created these auction sites, you know, big, huge auction sites, and that's where the toddler lives. They are addicted to buying and selling. I mean, the toddler is on the auction sites. The toddler is on the guitar forums. That's where they live. But they're abhorrent. The toddler is not what I consider as a serious long-term customer or associate, friend. They're incapable of it. They're addicted not to the guitar. They're not addicted to music. They're addicted to some psychological fantasy, an emotional, aspirational response, which is completely irrational. Repeatedly impulsive and compulsive psychological fantasy which drives them to buy and sell and buy and sell, and not have real tangible knowledge about any of this stuff. That's what the entire guitar industry is built upon, but I want no part of it. And I'm consciously trying to keep away from the fucking toddler. And you most likely are one of these fucking toddlers. So one of these owners, I don't even know how many owners this poor Home Depot guitar has had over the years. But one of the owners, after buying it, did contact me, and he said, and they told me this is just about the best sounding guitar I've ever heard. And I go, yeah, that's true. And then I think I may have heard that, I don't know, about 10 years later, he sold it. So I have no clue of where that is, all right? And I have no clue where all the fucking toddlers that laughed, where they are. Where are you, toddlers? Come on forward. Let me know how you're doing, how you're making out, what you up to these days. How's your PRS doing? I am right here. I'm still building guitars. Nothing has changed here on this end, and I'm thinking up new things that excite me. New designs, innovations, completely creative stuff that hasn't been done before. Improvements to everything they consider vintage. Pickups, guitars, combinations of certain pickups with certain guitars, different bodies, perfecting my knowledge, my skill. It's an ongoing process. Nothing has changed here on this end. How about you guys, toddlers? Where is that army of vicious, ignorant toddlers? Where are they? Those nasty little chihuahuas who are ganging up Anonymous and are always nipping at one's heel. They all gang up and they fucking nip at your heel. And then you just gotta fucking boot them away. As soon as you expose them, the toddler, like, evaporates. They can only do it through anonymity. Wow, something else. The alien could not exist without the toddler. They are linked, inseparable. The alien is the parasite, and the toddler is the ignorant, disgusting host that the alien can do anything with. I think they all got the sniffles and are no longer with us, maybe. I hope. But there's new toddlers being born all the time. There's ignorant individuals being created constantly. That's a scary thought. It's, for me, that's depressing just to know that. But there's nothing I can do about it. There's ignorant toddlers being created way faster than I can create guitars. Let's put it that way. So, let me show you what I got. This is guitar number 2 of this feature. So here's the new Knotty Pine Beauty. But this time it's wood from Ikea. That's right. This is the guitar that should be sold at Ikea for $3,000. All right, well, here it is. And as I said, it's a semi-hollow Les Paul body, Les Paul Special Junior type of setup on this one. It's a little bit different than the previous one. And the top is very interesting. It's an Ikea top. It's an Ikea end table that I have a few around the house, and I kept one unassembled because I knew it would be perfect for a guitar project. So this is just one of the shelves that I used, and I thicknessed it to the right thickness and used it as a top. And, you know, it's a very clean workmanship here, woodworking, and it's got the wraparound original 50s Les Paul Special Junior wraparound aluminum bridge that I love so much. And something interesting, I've gotten so good at placing these bridges exactly at the right spot that if you take a look at this bridge, I had one that didn't have any adjustment screws back here for intonation, and I specifically used this. I mean, the rest of them I have in stock all have those screws, but I specifically used this bridge to prove that I can place this at exactly the right location. And I don't like those screws like sticking out and stuff. And even the ones with screws, what I do is I put very short screws in there, just enough length that I need so that they don't protrude. Okay, I don't like the protruding screws. So even the ones with the screws, they're flush with the edge here. But on this one, it's got no screws at all because it's perfectly placed for intonation, as perfect as you can get with this kind of a bridge. And again, the pickups, I had the pickups previously. Obviously, I've got a really nice, quite hot Charlie Christian pickup in here with 38 gauge thick wire coil. Charlie Christian pickup with 38 gauge coil wire, which is a thick wire compared to the 42 gauge that are usually used on Fenders and Gibsons. So this is 38 gauge, much thicker wire. And so this is a hot Charlie Christian. It's just a big, monstrous single coil. And this one here, the P90 shape, okay, and it goes into a P90 cavity, but it's set up, this particular one is interesting because it's set up as a Fender style pickup where these are the magnetic pull pieces. These are not magnetic, by the way, the magnets on the bottom, but these are magnetic. These are the actual magnets. And what's happening is this also has 38 gauge wire on it, just same as the Charlie Christian. So it's kind of a hybrid. So it's kind of a hybrid of a Charlie Christian and a GF90, and because this also has 38 gauge wire. So it's really cool. The two pickups actually sound quite different because this is a much less power. It's a weaker pickup than this one. This is a very powerful one, and this is a weaker one. So it's a very good contrast. You will hear it between the two pickups. I mean, this is sharp, it's bright, it cuts through, and this is a nice sweet pickup in here. And I believe both of them have Alnico 3 magnets. Okay. And then my usual placement of the master volume, master tone. Master volume is so good because it could be reached as you play. And you can vary your gain level by your volume knob. And also you can do volume swells very easily. Just a simple 3-way switch there. And what's really cool to match the theme is the antique replica radio knobs. I love these knobs. It really goes with this guitar. Okay, take a look at that. Again, lots of pictures on the website. And so the body, by the way, the body itself is pine, but it is not Knotty Pine. It's I guess what they call white pine. And what's really interesting is I have or a few years ago, I got a hold of some boards, some big boards of this pine, and it was quite thick. Like, this is thicker than a Les Paul, by the way. And it's also, what's really interesting, if you look here, see, follow the grain lines, there's no center seam here. This is not two pieces glued together. This is a one-piece pine body. Can you imagine that? One-piece pine body. Okay? Hope you appreciate that. Hope that does something for you, because you don't get that. And so this is a one-piece. It's hollowed out, and then the Ikea top goes on top of that, and the Ikea top is Knotty Pine, and it's made of many, many strips of this stuff. Just to add to the vibe. I love this kind of thing, okay? You can have your PRS and fucking do whatever you want with it, but that stuff is artificial to me. Somebody called it a deep fried piece of shit. That's exactly what it is. It's so cheesy. It's as cheesy as PRS the person. But anyway, enough of that. Let's leave him. Let's not be too hard on him, okay? Okay, so everything matches. Wanted to keep the weight down on this baby. How much does it weigh? I'll tell you later what it weighs. It weighs exactly 6 pounds. Only 6 pounds. Can you handle it? Can you imagine 6 pounds? And everything's got to match. You got to have vintage style strap buttons. I said tuner buttons by accident, but they're strap buttons. You got to have the plastic jack plate instead of the metal jack plate, because we want to keep the weight down and we want to keep the vibe of the vintage. Everything's got to match. If you got a light body, you got to have a light neck. You got to have light hardware, and that's how you match everything. And then you've got a mahogany, lightweight, quarter sawn mahogany neck, of course, that feels like a woman's buttocks. And then you've got vintage style Clouson tuners, which I love. And you've got plastic buttons to keep the weight down. And there's the serial number for you. And what else can I tell you about this? That's about it. You've got the neck joint. You've got the spike angle adjustment, and it sits right on the spike, so you've got metal on metal here, not the guitar neck on guitar wood. Again, it's innovation of mine. And then here you've got the Mission Impossible nut. Somebody called it Mission Impossible nut material way back, probably in the late 90s, and I figured, well, that's a great name for it. And the same material is used for the retention bar. So you've seen the tuning on these things, right? The toddlers, the stupid fucking toddlers on the PRS website, you know, they have no clue about any of this stuff, right? They only they're psyoped. They're constantly psyoped, right? So that's what we got. And then the obviously you're not going to put pearl dots on this thing. You got to understand, you got to have aesthetics. You got to have a sense for aesthetics, a huge sense for aesthetics. And the best guitar builders are people who are artists in other fields as well, because they understand aesthetics. A lot of the guitar builders out there are not artists. They may be woodworkers, but they're not artists. And so obviously you have to stick to the theme. That's why I don't like it when somebody modifies these guitars, because they destroy the theme. A toddler gets a hold of this thing, and that's pure hell. It's pure hell. So, you know, I tried my best to keep these away from the toddler. I try really, really hard. Sometimes I don't succeed, because the toddler is very deceptive. They're very deceptive creatures. They're also called the type B male bunnies. That's the personality type of the toddler. And women love them because women can control them. You see the toddlers as husbands, and usually the woman has the pants on and has the balls in the family, and the toddler loves it because they like to be abused a little bit. They get a sexual thrill out of that. So 24 stainless steel, high and wide frets, and what can I say? It's as good as a guitar is ever going to be. Everything is there. I'm going to try to play it for you, and see what happens if that gets through in the recording. It's very resonant, and it's got a lot of sustain. Obviously, this is like playing a cigar box guitar or something. It's just alive, you know what I mean? And that's about all I can tell you. So let me show you what it sounds like.